If you're stressing about getting into the right Sydney high school, this video is exactly for you, because half the schools your parents think are elite aren't even in the top 20. Let me explain. Hey there, if you're new around here, we're KISS, or Keep It Simple Academics, a tutoring-based company here in Australia that's helped over 5,000 students keep learning simple and effective. Now, over the last few months, we've dived into the actual 2024 HSC data, and what we found might actually surprise you, because that public high school your parents think is just okay is actually outperforming many private schools that charge over $40,000 a year. Damn! So if you're stressing about high school choices, or you're already at a school wondering if you made the right call, this video is exactly for you, because I'm going to be breaking down the real rankings based on actual HSC results, show you which public schools are secretly crushing it, and most importantly, why the school name on your blazer matters way less than you think. But first, and as always, let me address the biggest myth about school rankings that is probably messing with your head as we speak. Now, when someone asks what are Sydney's best high schools, a lot of people immediately think about private education. You know, schools like Knox Grammar or King's High School, but Knox Grammar is actually only ranked number 17, and King's only finished 33rd on the HSC 2024 school rankings last year. The schools that are actually dominating these private schools are your selective public schools. So places like North Sydney Boys, that is currently ranked number 1 and had a 65% Band 6 rate last year. Or James Roos Agricultural High School, you know, a high school that was FEST for 27 consecutive years. Now, I think the takeaway here is that you don't have to always default to private education because of the reputability status they all hold. Sometimes you can get the same, if not better value for your money going to a selective public school rather than a private high school. Now, of course, this comes with a caveat, and that being selective public schools are really competitive to get into and therefore will require you to perform at your very best. Now, something to keep in mind is that private education has its own unique benefits that you won't find at a selective or non-selective public school. But the important thing to realize is that there are always alternative options based on what is your highest priority. So if your top priority is academic excellence, then I think you're better off aiming for a selective high school where you can get better value for your money. But if you're looking into things like the network, the facilities, the type of resources, then maybe private education is a better choice for you. Now, in 2024, the highest performing non-selective public school was Willoughby Girls High School, which ranked number 54 in the 2024 HSC rankings. It managed to beat 60% of the so-called elite private schools. Even schools like Chatswood High School, who ranked 57, and Epping Boys High School that ranked 59, managed to beat, again, private schools. Something you risk going into non-selective public schools is that you get a mixed bag of students. You get students who excel, and then you get those who don't. So the quality of a cohort in one given year can vary significantly to another, because the filtering process for students in these non-selective public schools is less rigorous compared to selective and private schools. Now at KISS, we actually had a student who transferred from a very prestigious private school to Chatswood High School in year 11. And she actually ended up with a higher ATAR mark than most of her old classmates. And importantly, her family saved about $60,000 in annual fees. So the important thing to keep in mind when comparing all these different schools is realizing that it's not the school itself that is going to be doing the work. It's you, the student, who has to put in the effort. Yes, the school can provide better facilities, resources, and quality teaching, but none of it really matters if you, the student, are not willing to put in the work at all. Now, we all know that selective high schools completely crush it when it comes to HSC performance. I mean, 8 of the top 10 schools for HSC rankings are selective high schools. So if you're going into year 6 next year and thinking about taking on the selective test, or you're a bit hesitant to try it, I would say just give it your best shot, because honestly, it can set you up for the next 6 years of your education simply because of the type of environment you get access to, granted you get into a selective high school. You will be surrounded by students who actually want to be there, who will push you to the next level, and most importantly, set you up for ATAR success better than most schools. But here's what I wish someone told me when I was stressing a little bit about the selective test. Getting rejected from your dream selective school doesn't mean game over. We know kids who missed out on the selective school entry exam or didn't get into a selective school they really wanted to get into and still managed to come out on top when it came to their final year 12 exams. The real advantage of selective schools isn't about some sort of magic teaching method or upper hand in the type of resources these students get access to. It's actually the peer group, the type of students you're surrounded by. I'd recommend identifying the students in your school who are kind of driven in the same manner to yourself, and then trying to build a connection with them and eventually studying with them over the next few years. Because if there's one piece of advice I can give you for high school success, it would be surrounding yourself with the right people early on. I can see why the high school selection process here in Sydney stresses a lot of people out. It's largely because everyone around you, or yourself included, acts like your school choice determines your entire future. But here's what actually matters: how hard you work, who you surround yourself with, and whether you're getting quality teaching. So whether you're at James Roos Agricultural High School or Epping Boys High School, the most important factor to control is your work ethic. Work hard, and trust me, it will pay off. Now, if you want a deeper dive into the rankings, looking at the top 100 list and looking at specific statistics and analysis we've done, you can check out our blog post, which I will link in the description below for you to go and check out in your own time. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a like, maybe share it around, and let me know in the comments, what do you think is the best high school in Sydney? But other than that, I will catch you in the next video.